just realized that I normally say welcome back to everyone that is new, which doesn't make sense. So, welcome to everyone that is new. Welcome back to everyone that is a returning listener. So, that makes sense. That is how I'm supposed to be saying it. But yes, the laws of physics are working on today's podcast. I am actually putting it on my Juice Berkeley, which is like it's really small. Like it has like you have to put the phone really at the center for it not to fall. And any mistake it may drop. But every risk we take. That is how we succeed. Welcome to everyone, man. I have to be sharing a lot of stuff that I've discovered through life, through experiencing life. And if you are seeing the title and the title seems really good, it means that there was something that was really good that was shared, which I hope that is gonna be, for today, those facts that are gonna come out. But the first fact that I want to speak about is a continuation of what we've been speaking about in the podcast, which is protecting women at all times, right? Making sure that our women are safe and that we go back to the old ways whereby a woman was actually seen as a diamond, as a gold, because we still believe that women are actually great. There's actually great individuals which we treasure. I don't know whether as we are going through the years, when we started normalizing the tasks that women were supposed to do, or the tasks that women are expected to do, we started losing how much greatness we saw on women, and how much we embraced them as like our own precious and beings that we felt like the need to actually like protect. And we went to a space whereby now we see them as as rivalries. We see them as like people to just misuse or anything like that. But I want to take us back to those times. I hope there's someone that is listening, there's someone that really cares about women, there's someone that's going to make sure that if they find a great woman, they're going to treat them right. But here's the tricky part that I want to speak about today. I want to say it doesn't have to be a condition. There shouldn't be any condition around how we treat women. Whether you like her appearance, whether you don't, make sure that always treat her right, because she is learning from you. You are building something from her. And this also touches on how you're actually molding people with what you're doing, right? The moment you mistreat people, people are gonna lose faith in people, and there's gonna they're gonna expect that same treatment from everyone that they meet out there. So every time you come across someone, make sure that you impact them in the right way. When they think about someone, they, even if they can find a multiple thousands of people that they meet who are horrible, they must look back and think, okay, there was this person that that treated me right. So it's not a matter of everyone, but it's a matter of most of the people are messed up, but not everyone, right? There is that one person that really treated me right. And I spoke about the society that we had built before, but I actually like spoke on a comment section, with someone. We had an engagement whereby I also like invited anyone that wants to hop onto the podcast and we speak about stuff. All you have to do is download the Anchor app. It's from Spotify. Just look for Spotify for podcasters, or look for Anchor from Spotify, and you download that app. You can come into this comment section, you give me a username, and I'll invite you for a podcast and we can have that conversation. It's some sort of like a phone call, but it's not really a phone call. We're actually engaging, and we're talking, and it's recording at the same time. And now we get to actually upload that podcast and have a conversation at the luxury of your home, at the comfortability of your home, of your couch, wherever you're sitting, and we can have that conversation. What society am I talking about? The society that when they saw a grown-up person going for a little child, they actually came out there and said that's not the right thing to do. When they saw someone mistreating someone, they called it out and they said this is not the right thing to do. That is the society that I so long and so wish we could have back. And we started normalizing stuff. We started normalizing seeing little kids dating old people. We started normalizing seeing little kids getting pregnant. We started normalizing a lot of stuff. Little kids exposing their bodies on the internet for multiple people. We started like doing it like that. And then the more those images started roaming around, the more people started is thinking it's okay to, to be there, messing up people's life, messing up children's life and everything like that. But it's also like it's also understandable, the fact that, we have modeling now, we have, people, as young as 16 trying to make money. But if it's like 14 years old, man, like if it is like 13 years old, I'm sure there is supposed to be some way that we protect these people from these people out there. Even if they are there on the internet and they're doing it to get money or anything like that, as a modeling gig or anything like that. But in physical, in real life, if we see someone getting attacked by someone, by a guy who's older, if you see a woman, a 14-year-old kid rolling around with a 25, with a 20, with, man, that should be called out, because it is not right. It is not the right thing to do. But I've realized that, man, we see people who are famous, who are actually impacting the community, the society, and we see them doing things that are morally not correct, right? That have a devastating effect on how we are, we're being shaped, where we're going as a society. And we think it's okay because it's them, but we don't know the ripple effect. What they are actually putting out there is something that is affecting, that young kid, at the village, who doesn't have, someone to protect her, who doesn't have multiple eyes watching out for her. There's gonna be that guy that's gonna think, oh well, it's okay, we see it around, and I'll go and use that young child, right? That young child that, maybe had a motivation to actually become a greater person later in life, and they get so affected that some of them, take away their life. Some of them, they lose direction, they lose a sense of direction, they feel like, okay, the world is just a horrible place to be in. So I would really, 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 really kill for a society that really like still, protected young women, that really like still protected all kinds of women or anything like that. I've realized that women are people that generally, most of them, they talk a lot, and it's upon us as guys to actually understand that that's how they are, but that's not how we are supposed to be controlled. Because if you have someone saying a lot of garbage about you, especially if it's a lady, you're not supposed to be to be reacting to that. Because I know women as people that don't really hide their feelings. If they have something to tell you, they will tell you right there on the spot, and they don't care who's watching, who's around, what effect it has on you or anything like that. But I ask for calm from all the gents that are out there. Have some calm. Think of how we have for the longest time been people that have been said to be calm people, to be people that have been said to be, people that should protect our sisters out there, to be people that have been called out to be people that have a great personality. They don't have a switch of, a switch of emotions unexplainably. This is something that has been put out there, for us, and I hope we actually hold it or anything like that. I know some people will say that is toxic masculinity, but when we had toxic masculinity, women were protected. That is my point. And it's crazy that we are making all this adjustment, and we are hating the society. Have you seen how much we have hurt the society with all the adjustment that we've had? I saw another podcast from a guy from Zimbabwe. They were speaking about how the more we've pushed this agenda of saying that women should be competing with men, we have pushed men to be dating other men, because now they are looking at a point whereby they can't risk, marrying a woman, because it seems like these days women are out there to get all your money. Women are out there to actually like get half of your, of your earnings and that and something like that. It is seen as women will do anything to win over men and stuff like that. And that is the society we've shifted ourselves into. And that society has given a ripple effect of just like gents now wanting to to be with gents, which is crazy, because at the first time, like when we think about it, we do not see the ripple effect. We see it as two just like independent variables, things that don't come together. But then when you think about it into deep, you think, oh, it's actually building on that. And I feel like they whoever started taking the movement the left direction was the one that actually like shaped this this whole continent in a certain way, and stuff like that. And it really killed us. It really destroyed us. It really destroyed the future. It unlocked, another page which we we I don't think we all want to be experiencing. And that is not what we were trying to create in the first place, and stuff like that. I remember, when the movement started, it was to take women, put them in the big positions, like work, positions, stuff like that, because they have what it takes to be leaders. They have what it takes to succeed in businesses and stuff like that. But it becomes so distorted that it became, now a gender war. Like, it's not like, okay, everything that a woman says is right, and we now have pushed in a ourselves in a point where by now we think it's okay to also do what nature never destined us to do. If you're fighting a woman, that's not how nature actually destined a man to be. And nature gave you muscles. It gave you you have strength, like literally, like if you have lots of testosterone, you have physical strength. So you can't justify going out there beating a woman who is not really shaped in how you were shaped. You're a woman, yeah, she has to go through training, she has to go through, exercise and stuff before she can have. And some people have they induce testosterone in their bodies and stuff like that to actually reach your point. But as a guy, as soon as you hit 14, 15, you start developing those features that are saying, I'm ready, for whatever life has to bring onto me, and stuff like that. And I feel like we've created, I know a lot of people say that now, man, men have to talk, men have to vent, but I have a different stance, man. I feel like life, it's unfortunate, but life never meant to be people that are really should be emotional. Because if you unlock a new chapter of whereby men are supposed to now be so emotional, share their feelings, react faster to whatever little thing they're experiencing and stuff like that, you are creating a room for male men to actually go through depression. I don't know. I feel like these things, this new, stuff, some are linking it to GMOs, genetically modified organisms, right? That's like the crops that we have right now, because we have so many people that are really depressed, taking their lives and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, is it because now we have created a society whereby we've said, man, it's okay to have mood swings as a guy. It's okay to be to be affected by everything as a guy and stuff like that. And I say most of the times, just minds a lot of stuff. As soon as you go out there, you realize that there's stuff that you don't like. Minds them, they're not gonna affect you. I bet you in the next years, 2 years, months, those things will be gone. Some people say people come and go, whatever situation you're in is gonna pass, but it's up to you how you react. And you can prolong some things staying in your life. I know we've spoken before about how a situation will keep on happening to you until you learn from it. And as soon as you are there, getting affected by that stuff, you're doing less learning, and that situation will keep on happening and happening and happening and happening, because we get prepared for the next chapter of our life, and we can't transition to the next chapter of our life if we're not prepared enough. And I always say, man, whatever you put out there into the universe, just always think about that before you say something, before you react, before you post on that social media stuff. Just think, whatever I put out there is something that's gonna be brought back to me. If I complain a lot, the world is gonna give me a lot of stuff to complain about. And it's just that. For instance, let me make a general thing, because someone will say, oh well, I am someone that think I should put out something out there so that it get worked upon, right? Let's say you walk into a restaurant, right, and you're always complaining, right, and complain about the food and stuff like that, which some people say is justified because it's their money, right? And it's also someone that's serving you, right? It's a person that's actually serving you, right? They have emotions, they are employed, they're not cooking the food. Most of the waitresses, right, they're not the chefs, and some of them are frustrated by their managers. You can actually see in a busy place whereby now the managers is having it with the women and stuff like that, having it with the men that are working out there, that are waitressing there. and that person comes and serves you, and you give them the worst attitude. You're complaining about everything like that. First thing they will make sure is that they will make sure that the first, like whenever they have to do something, the people that they should mind is a particular desk whereby someone, or table whereby someone has a pleasant attitude over you, right? If they have to come and ask, are you satisfied? What else do you need? They will prefer not to come to you. They will go to somewhere else. And I'm telling you, even if you have something more to buy, right, you will struggle to get their attention. So now you have more some things to complain about. Oh, it takes so long to get a drink, but first you had to complain about, oh, it takes so long to get my order, and now I need a refill, I need more. It takes so long to get those because people are now avoiding you because you didn't put out a pleasant attitude out there for the people that are serving you to know that, okay, things are not going well, but I appreciate you. I know you're working hard. I know you can improve. I'll give you like an example of what actually happened, and it's an example of an example. I went to this to this people who know Spurs, know about Spurs. And I was sitting there, and there was this lady that was serving, right? She came to me, and she had told me that some things were no longer on the menu and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, I really wanted those stuff, but if you have what you have, just hit me with what you think is the best substitute of what you had. And she went away. She tried to think about how she can make sure that whatever I have is out there, and she couldn't find a solution. She came back again and she told me that, oh, I tried, but there's nothing out there. We might need you to place another order of a different dish and stuff like that. And as I was speaking to her, I was telling her all of the times, I don't want to I don't want to make you work hard. I'll make sure I pick, good dish and everything. Like, I can see it's a busy day. You're probably struggling, having a hard time as well. Because the manager is just roaming around as well, calling out everyone. Everyone, everyone was trying to avoid the manager as well. So I tell you, I kid you not, she made sure that like my table was well looked after. Like, she made sure that the order moves faster. She made sure that she pushed it herself, and everything. And she made sure she came for every time. Like, she was coming over and over again to just check up on me and make sure that I'm okay. And that is like, you're bringing this person a breath of fresh air, because these are people, right? And if they are people, they are also going through a hard time that day, and especially if it's for me, I don't know, I have a spot that says for women, I'm gonna treat them right, because I know things are already tough out there. We have people that I hate, women who hate us, which is okay, because now we've created that society. I'm not saying it's an okay society, but I'm saying as a man, it feels like it's understandable for you to be harboring all of this stuff, because you've been pressed and pressed and pressed. Which is why I make this podcast, to make sure that as men, you understand that we are all being pressed, but it's not right to actually go out there and mistreat women, because I don't know, even if they're horrible, even if they're not nice or anything like that, even if they're great, they're still women. And they're still precious, and they're still a diamond, and they're still gold, and you still have a mother, you still have a sister, right? And you ought to treat them right, because you have to think, what about your own? You have to think, when you have a daughter, what's gonna happen and stuff like that. But yes, just make sure that you do not give people more reasons to give you more complaints. That's just like an explanation that I had up on my sleeve that I wanted to speak about, when it comes to actually like making you understand that as soon as you put something out there, it's gonna be bounced back to you. And that's why you should always be a quiet person. I there's one thing that I do most of the times. I'm someone that's cool and calm and collected. I don't complain. I don't I make sure that I distance myself from a lot of stuff. And what do I get in return? Less complaints, more quietness in my life, more respect, because I don't know, but for some reason, man, when I go out there and someone says hi, I greet them back with respect, with hope, for that moment. But there's one thing, I'm able to talk to old people, but you don't see people overly talking to me. So it's not, you can't say that for you to actually get along well with people, you have to not, talk a lot with them, because yeah, it's obvious people then start, not knowing their boundaries. But I've reached a point whereby, I can balance those two. Like, I know when to show you that, okay, now you're kicking above boundaries, but I always make sure that I'm always nice to you. That's why I'm gonna tell you today, and for you to even process it and think it's against you, I'll make sure that the next minute I'm nice to you, so that you know that I don't have any problem with you. I just have a problem with the fact that you're jumping over boundaries at that moment. But we're still cool. We're still gonna be the same way that we're gonna be. Anyways, yeah, it's important to make sure that you do not put out a bad attitude out there into the world, and you do not ruin it, because it's already ruined. A lot of ruined it. Just make sure that you do not add a lot of ruins. Oh my god, I nearly dropped my phone, and that would have been such a weird experience. I'll give you another experience that I had that was so harsh on me, but I don't know how God like, I don't know, I feel like, so I'm now so soft. I don't know, but my life has always been like, now it has shaped in a place whereby I did not have anything to be depressed about or to be anxieting about. But I'll tell you something, I'm still in the same situations that were depressing me and anxieting me, right? There was a time whereby I met these boys, right, these gents in town, that actually like take your phones. They steal them in the sense of like saying, come play with us, show us, just look at the card, tell us where the card is. It's a scam. Don't do those things. I learned the hard way, and I'm there helping this dude, right? And as soon as like they took my stuff, the dude ran away. But when he was winning, he was there to actually like, let's split the money and stuff like that. It's gambling in essence, but I've never done it before. Like, I was thinking, like, I'm gonna help the dude on that day. But when they took my stuff, the first thing I said, Lord, I know you know why the person took the phone. I know you know what's gonna be the next thing that's gonna come out. What am I gonna get in return? And the other day I lost money. I was like, Lord, if you are using that money to feed someone, whoever is gonna take it, then it's for a good use, because that person, has gotten that money and you would have fed them and stuff like that. There's a time when someone like had asked something from me. I was like, Lord, I know how difficult it is to walk up to someone and tell them you're hungry and you need something, and I'm gonna do more than that. I'm gonna make sure that they're looked after, because I know those are blessings that you're sending my way. I'm telling you, my life has never been. I'm not having a Bugatti. I'm not having a Lamborghini. I'm not rich. I'm not even having a salary that is above 10K, right? But I'm having peace. I don't know. I think that is my return right now. That I'm having peace at all times, like, and stuff like that. And now I get a chance to actually be there, sit out there, and hear people say that you're actually someone that is a breath of fresh air. But I don't know how I am a breath of fresh air. But I feel like maybe it's what I do out there. Well, maybe it's what I've done for other people. They have actually like rolled me in a sleeve of kindness, that everyone else out there can actually like experience or see or anything like that. And I've also had returns like, I think right now I've done a lot as someone who is doing engineering, and most of the times when I was in college, I was chasing. I was actually chasing engineering. I wasn't the people that actually like got like really 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 good like grades to actually take them to a level of like they could be engineers of great places. My friend is actually like an engineer at Apple, and he always tells me that, man, I'm here an engineer because you've done a lot for me. And I'm looking back, I'm like, bro, you were smarter than me, like, and anything like that. They had a good syllabus. Like, I don't think I wasn't that brilliant, but I just didn't have that start. I didn't go to universities that they had good education, not universities but high schools that had good like content in what we were learning, right? And you see that there's different layers to mathematics. There are people that actually have like really great mathematics. But most of the times I used to complain about that stuff. But these days I've told myself, whatever that I don't understand, I'm gonna learn, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm not gonna give any excuses to why I'm mediocre in stuff. I'll always learn and make sure that I'm actually good at what I'm doing before I can go out there and blaming other people except myself for being lazy to learn more. But yeah, as an engineer, I find myself doing a lot of PLC programming, automation, I find myself doing a lot of, stuff that has to do with things. When I look back at that time, I was like, those are things that I wouldn't have thought I'd do or practice with right now and actually get good results out of them and actually advance them in the way that I'm advancing today. Like today, if you give me a PLC, I will not be frustrated. I'll not be clueless on what I'm supposed to or I'm expecting to do with it. I remember there were times whereby a Raspberry Pi looked so complicated for me, but today if you give me a berry, I'd actually do something with it. And I think it's how I've shaped up my life. And if you make sure that you actually like always think of the goodness in everything that you do, even if it makes you feel pain, if you try at all times to think about what's the right thing that I can do out of this situation, everything is gonna work out for good, and stuff like that. If you're always thinking good and if you're always doing good, regardless of the bad that is being done to you. I don't know whether I've said anything that makes of any sense in today's episode, but I hope I did. And thank you so much for everyone that has listened up until this far. I hope you did enjoy today's episode, and I hope I had covered things that really are important to you. My plea to you today is make sure that you treat women nicely, and if you're a woman, treat other women nicely and stuff like that. And hopefully we can conquer the world with kindness and make it better again. And yeah, thank you so much for listening up until this far. I'll see you next one. Take good care of yourself. And luckily, my phone didn't drop. And yeah, I recorded up until the end. Thank you. I love you all. Take care.